Yo, 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 Salaam nerds. It's your boy Neebs, aka Watch with Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host Jeff, aka DJ Kukulkan.
Yeah. I appreciate that. You know what?
Love it, love it. You know, whenever somebody says Kukulkan, it spells it Khan, and I'm like, yo, it's pretty much my last name. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah, no.
They need to
Man.
have Kamala Khan be like, I am Kamala Khan.
I can totally see them doing it as like some Halloween or winter special or something.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And
Oh
like you
man.
see Namor walking in, like, hey guys, what's up? Like
That would be so funny. Look, I'm wearing my Kenyan shirt today because people don't know this, but I actually have part of my family is Kenyan. A lot of my family members are from Kenya, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna rep some African style today, man.
cool. Cool. Respect.
Yeah. And speaking of style, we got an amazing guest. Somebody I met
Oh.
at the Lyle Lyle Crocodile event, and I was like, I told him I'm a big fan. This guy, might know him on TikTok. He's a big deal. He got really popular doing these Powerline cosplays, and he's an amazing
That's
dancer.
you!
Yes,
I
that's
follow
him.
you!
Yes, Dimitri, welcome to our
Oh my
show.
That is me.
No, like a lot of times I don't follow people like that Neves brings on, but I think I actually organically follow you because of this
That-
Powerline thing.
I love that. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That really means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
I never tell Jazz who our guest is. I never let him know. It's always a surprise.
Nice, a good little surprise for him. I love that.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
That's funny. Dimitri, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. I mean, I gave you a little bit of intro, but tell us what we don't know.
Well, I live out in New York. I live on Long Island. I've been here for almost 28 years. I turned 28 in January,
Hmm.
which is wild to think about. Like my knees hurt, my back hurts. But yeah, my job right now, I work for a DJ company. I've been doing that since I was 18.
Cool.
He hired me, the boss, my boss, he hired me I was a guest at a Sweet 16. And he was like, I really love your vibe. I was like, you want to come work for us? Like, come back here tomorrow to take pictures. And then since then, I worked my way up from like learning the business, learning like the tech. I did photo, and now I just predominantly just DJ, which is a great job. And I would love to incorporate that into like even moving forward, like with my content creating, like be like guest DJ. You know what I mean? Which I got to do last month actually at anime, not anime NYC. That's this weekend. New York Comic Con. I
Yes,
got
I
to be
saw that.
a guest DJ, which was really cool. So like, if I could do stuff like this, and I got to dress as Powerline too, and then I played Eye to Eye, and I went out with
I know.
I saw Stry Hat Goofy in the crowd, and then we hit the dance, and
I saw you guys. I saw
it
you
was-
guys. You guys were doing it at Comic Con. You guys were doing it at the club, man.
Yeah.
It was good, man. And shout out to Straw Hat Goofy, man.
Shout out
He's a
Straw
good
Hat
friend of
Goofy.
ours. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm just coming to New York now. Neves,
Yeah.
just tell me when, all right?
Jazz, you should just move here, man. Actually, to be fair, I actually feel like all the action's in LA, but I'm glad that New York gets a little bit of the action. Like when NYC Comic Con comes out, we get a little bit of that action, which is really, really nice.
We pop off when New York Comic Con comes around, but like yeah, everything is out there, which unfortunately I feel like I'll see so many things I feel like I'm missing out on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
like premieres and stuff, right? Did you get to go to the premiere or?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I was trying my best to do something to get someone's attention, and you know it's hard unless you know the right people.
Yeah.
I would love to have went, but I did go to an early screening for it was Straw Hats early screening last Tuesday. I flew over to LA. I had that.
Oh,
and I
that's
had-
what you were there for. Okay. got it.
yeah, I had that, and I had a party for Box Lunch, the Box Lunch Gala the next night.
Oh,
So
Oh,
cool.
that looked
yeah.
really fun.
It-
I saw a
it-
lot of cool videos of that.
it fell in perfectly. So that was such a great event, and the movie was, as you guys know, it was great.
Mhm.
It was great.
I can't wait to
we
wait to get into this movie because this is going to be so much fun to talk about. I'm glad we get to talk about it with you, man, because
Yeah.
like it makes the whole experience so much more enjoyable. So I am super excited. So let's get down to it, man.
Actually, before we get into it, I do want to say one thing. Shout out to Box Lunch for all the good work they do.
Yeah, of course, man.
The
Great company.
partnership with Feeding America, like
Mm-hmm.
they donated $100,000, and then Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, he was the first.
He matched it.
Yeah, he was the first giving ambassador that we did, and then he matched the 100,000, so $200,000 donation to Feeding America. So
Yeah,
it's
great
that's
work.
a lot. That's a lot of meals for a lot of people. So and
That's wild.
it was a great little surprise he did. So it was the whole thing was awesome.
I love that, man. That was a cool event. I'm so glad you got to be a part of it. It sounds really awesome, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, man. Let's get into Wakanda forever. Let's go. Let's
Dive
go.
in.
All right, man. This movie starts off with like so much heaviness when we see like you don't even see Shuri. You hear her praying to her God, and she's like, "Boss, if you do one thing for me, I'll never ask for anything else again."
Yeah.
That just set the tone for the entire movie. And you see her walk into her lab, try to figure out a way to make the synthetic herb, and then all of a sudden it gets really quiet. Her mom walks in, and then she asks Creo, "What's her brother's heart rate?" And like we all know what's gonna happen. And it was just this heart-wrenching moment, man. And it was just so wild. Dimitri, let's go first with you, man. What were your thoughts at how the movie just starts off?
It's funny because we know what's gonna happen, but it still hits so heavy and so hard. And the way that Ryan Coogler did a great job with the whole film, and every actor and actress in that which just did a phenomenal job. But like as you said, Leo, the blanks, just hearing Shuri's voice, that set the tone. And then she's walking around, she's all frantic. Everyone's running around when she gets into the lab, and she's frantically going around. It's like that's what a way to start a movie, just to like hit you right in the feels. Like even though you know what's gonna happen, it's like it's still like a big like smack in the face. Like you're gonna cry right now. It was a lot, and there was even honestly. Let's rewind. Was that before or after the Marvel thing where they showed
that was after? So let's talk about the Marvel credit, because that was really
that
cool.
also hit me in the feels.
Yeah.
It had the moment of silence.
Yep.
And also for our listeners out there, by the way, this episode does have spoilers, obviously. So they get mad when I don't say that. But
that's a good point to make.
A Wakanda Forever recap? No shit, there are spoilers.
I don't know why people get mad that our recap episodes is us recapping the show. It's wild, but people
love to
were
complain about everything.
I know. But that moment of silence with the intro, not only do they show T'Challa the character, but they show background scenes of actual Chadwick, and that's like honoring both. That hits in the field. What were your thoughts on that?
The whole crowd was just silent, and then when the full Marvel Studios logo showed, everyone started clapping. But it was just like eerie, and then it was like it was a lot, but it was so perfectly like just it was so well placed, and then you had that going into Shuri's little prayer, and just the first 5 minutes was just gut wrenching.
It's a heavy movie, man. Like it deals with themes about mourning. It deals with themes about God and how you're like you get upset at God, and then it also deals with just like grieving, right? And you see Shuri go through all this stuff, and like you really feel that because you know what happened in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard not to watch this movie and be affected by it. Like for some people, I tell people to watch this movie twice because like me, like heaviness stays with me when I watch a movie. Like even movies like Up. Like Up is my favorite Pixar movie. Hated it when I first watched it because I couldn't get over the first 12 minutes. It was too hard for me.
First 12 minutes were masterful in that movie.
The first 12 minutes,
right?
Fuck you. Like
they just fuck you up, and then like I was like, this movie's gonna do that to me. This movie's gonna fuck me up, and then I'm gonna watch it again for the second time, and then I'm going to be able to enjoy it because it won't hit me as hard. And that's exactly what happened. Like my second viewing was so much better. First movie was like a punch in the face, man, every time.
I haven't seen Up in a while, but when I first saw it, I was like, what are they doing? Like, this is a kid's movie. Why are they hitting us like this?
Yeah, right.
But did you guys see it twice yet?
Yes, I watched
I've
it
seen
twice.
it twice, yeah.
I have not seen it twice, unfortunately. I only got to see it last Tuesday. I was going to go today, but everything just got so busy. I was doing a bunch of stuff, and then, just how things get so busy. And I'm busy for the rest of the week, so I probably won't be able to see it for the second time until next week. But I'm really looking forward to just because there are like moments in my head where I'm just like, I need to like see it again. Like I have to see Talokan again. I have to see like the monologues, the banter. It was like everything was just so beautiful and just so like just perfectly funny in the right places.
Yeah, I feel like movies like the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Like when you're watching it the first time, you're like at the edge of your seat because you want to know what's happening next, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
movie's not about what's happening next. It's about what people are going through. It's about
Mhm.
the character development. It's the heaviness of like what's going on with Shuri, what his family's going through, and then a little bit of like we get to sit with Namor, right, and find out why he's doing what he's doing. It makes more sense when you're not anticipating what's going on. It's like, oh, he's gonna come out here, he's gonna do this, who's going to be the cameo, who's going to be the, like when you're thinking about all that stuff, it takes away from
Mm-hmm.
the actual like heaviness and the themes of the movie. So I always recommend watching movies like this twice.
Yeah, and
Um,
I'll get to it eventually. It's just life gets so busy, but I'm gonna be just sitting in my seat, just nothing,
You
phone off, like again, just fully focus on the movie because like it's something you need to see twice in the, at least twice
at
in the
least twice,
theaters.
and
at
I'm glad you
least.
said at least twice because even second time through, I still cried a couple times.
Oh yeah, I
So
definitely cried. Like the crying never stopped.
yeah, right. Like just grown ass men in a theater crying.
Like you hear sniffles everywhere. Like
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
right. Yep.
it's complete silence and just sniffles everywhere.
Like who's crying? It's like a grown man. It was like it's okay, man. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
So
know, I know.
I cried. I cried when Chadwick died, and
Yeah.
same thing when Kobe Bryant died because like that was the same year. It was just like a
Yeah.
separation a couple months.
Yeah.
But like Ryan looked up to Chadwick was such an icon, and then as black, he was the Black Panther, and that did so much for the Black community, and just like
He was
just
a
all
Black
of us.
Panther.
He was the Black
N-
Panther. I love
Not
it.
even for the Black community, because I feel like without Black Panther, we would have never had Miss Marvel. We would have never had Shang-Chi. Like if it
Oh, he
caused
started it.
It was the catalyst for so many
Yes.
much diversity, even with just not even culture, but like women too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Mhm.
And not even just like superhero movies, but like Crazy Rich Asians is something that got the. And if Crazy Rich Asians never popped off, Everything Everywhere All at Once would have never popped off. Like it's a chain reaction, right? And like
Yeah.
this show really opened it up. And it's not just the movie, not just the show, but like the Black community really came out for the Black Panther
Yep.
and showed people that this can make money. And
Right.
like
Cast
like
a Black
we owe-
director. Have a
right?
full Black cast. It will sell, and it did. Like
and it
to
did.
this day, Black Panther is my favorite Marvel movie of all time.
I feel like every other like thing that came is because of Black Panther, and like
Mhm.
I always
Hard
show
agree.
credit to that. We always have to give credit to that. For
Yeah,
sure.
and shout out to the whole cast, and Ryan Coogler did such a good. He's only directed two of those two movies, right? Just the Black Panther movies.
Mm-hmm.
For
Right.
Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to see him. I think I heard a rumor about him being on the Secret Wars.
I heard that too.
I heard it too.
And I would love for him to get that opportunity because he knows his stuff, and he
Mhm.
does a great job of just making a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
And
It's-
it's like
it's a
even
big-
outside of Marvel, he makes beautiful movies. Like
Yeah.
Creed.
everything he makes, I just enjoy.
Yeah. Dude, I can't wait for Creed. I'm really excited for that next.
Well, I have not seen any of the Creed movies.
Mm.
It's on my list.
Definitely recommend it. For
Like-
Jonathan Majors in it. That guy's in everything
know.
now. That
For the
guy
lo-
is
the
it's
longest
his
time,
universe.
I'm like I have to. I put things aside and I just watch reruns all the time. It's like I have
Oh,
this
yeah.
long list of shows and movies. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it, and I just time
Makes
passes
sense.
and yeah. But yeah, Jonathan Majors has been killing it. Like I
Mhm.
can't wait to see Devotion. I can't wait to. I'm gonna watch Creed 1 and 2 just so I can watch him. And I love Michael
Yeah.
B. Jordan. I love
Yeah.
so just so I can watch him in Creed 3. But like yeah, he's been, and then we get him as Kang, which
Oh,
is
God, that's going to be so good. And man, it's just world. The next few months is just his world.
it's just him. Like he's like gonna be ruling the world, and he found out this guy is just incredibly jacked.
yeah.
Oh my! When I first saw it, I was like, "That's not him. That's fake." And I found out he put on all this muscle for the movie. I was like, "Shit."
I saw that and I'm like, R.I.P. Ant-Man. I'm sorry. He's gone.
So I was like, "Oh, dude, the Avengers are fucked, man."
Yeah, like who's the good guy here?
Oh, man. All right. Well, speaking of R.I.P., I do want to go back to the movie and talk about how they had this mourning period, which I thought was really interesting because in our culture, we also have a mourning period. You can't mourn for over a certain amount of time. After that, you pray for the people, but you don't mourn. And I think that's really interesting where like the queen and Shuri go to this like beach and they're like, hey, we're going to burn these garments as a finality of their mourning, right? And Shuri wasn't ready to do that. And you see how that really like takes the whole thing all the way to the end, and we see what happens there. And I thought that was such a great scene. And you can see like Shuri just not connecting. She's like almost doesn't believe in God anymore, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
just like when someone like has this like really strong connection to religion, and then someone in their family dies, and they're like, if there's a God, why would they let something like this happen, right? And you see Shuri just like saying like, what you're telling me is a construct in your mind. And then her mom goes, well, what is the construct in your mind doing? Is it giving you comfort or is it giving you torment? And I was like, yo, such a good line. I love that scene at the beach. What are your thoughts, Dimitri?
I think, you know, anger plays a lot into what Shuri was feeling because obviously when she, when she went to the ancestral plane, we know who she saw.
Right.
Um, yeah, she just wasn't ready to let go, and then obviously just the anger was a big part of that, and that I think moving forward, that's gonna play a big part into how she is as the Black Panther. 'Cause I do think she's gonna remain as the Black Panther, and there's gonna be king or queen figure. But I think that she's gonna. I don't know. For me, I feel like she might end up being kind of like doing things on her own terms type of thing because of
Mm-hmm.
how just. Yeah, she at the end of the movie she burned his clothes. She finally let go, but I feel like there's that little inkling of like she's not. She's just like that. Not evil, but she's just still angry at the world. She doesn't believe there's a God anymore. She doesn't believe like
Right.
if there was a God, why would this happen to my brother? You know what I mean? So I think moving forward, she's just gonna be just that's still that like angry person, still trying to like deal with like mental health and like the depression of losing her or losing T'Challa. So yeah, I just think that that's gonna play a big part of moving forward in the MCU.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But I also think that like the line where they say only the broken can be good leaders is also a very good point where like she is broken and maybe she's not ready to be a leader yet, but eventually I think she will be because like,
She's so young in this movie,
she's
Mhm.
right?
she's young in this movie, right?
She's
And
like
she cares.
16, right?
Yeah, and she cares about like technology and she's about all that and she's dealing with a lot of death, but she still has the capacity to lead because we see what happens at the end of the movie. She makes the right choices. So we'll see.
Oh, we
We
have a
got some
comment.
comments. We got. Do you think T'Challa variant will enter 616? I don't know,
Razi.
because we
You
saw what happened at the
can't.
end. We saw what happened at the end,
Yeah,
but
because
I
of the
think
end, I don't think he will. No, I think because of
I
the
don't
end,
think so.
for me, I think I was just thinking about this earlier with the whole, baby T'Challa, which is absolutely adorable, and I didn't see that
Yeah,
coming at all,
No
honestly.
yeah,
one saw
yeah.
that
I didn't
coming.
see
Uh,
That
that coming.
scene.
it
Oh
just, I
my
was like,
god.
who's a little boy in Nakia's hand, and I was just like, no way, this is
Yeah,
honestly, it's genius the way they did it
it
because
was
like
like it was like recast T'Challa. Don't recast T'Challa. Okay, I'll do both.
yeah, basically,
They did both.
if you think about it, like in a way, it's kind of like a clone. You know what I mean? But it's not a clone, but
Mhm.
it is a clone. Like he grows up,
Right.
like this T'Challa can go through all the things that the T'Challa in the comics went through. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're getting the X-Men in the future. He could very well be married to Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything can happen here.
Oh,
We don't know because
that's
we
true.
don't know exactly when the X-Men are coming in. Like I mean, yeah, we have like a tentative time, but like it's up in the air of when exactly. Maybe during Secret Wars, after Secret Wars, but by that time there could be another time skip, and T'Challa could be ready to rule. He could get the throne back, challenge whoever's on the king's throne, queen's throne, and
Yes.
he could very well be involved with Storm. He could be going through all the stuff that happens that should have happened, I guess, when Chadwick was alive, but because he's
Right.
not, they had to rework it, and people were like, "Oh, should recast." And I was team no recast, just putting that out there. And
Mhm.
I think
Agreed.
that Ryan did a great job of segueing into setting up for the future.
I agree. I agree. I think that this is a great setup, and I think there's so much potential. And I didn't even think about the storm thing until you brought it up. That just like all the things that like comic T'Challa has done that they kind of put on Chadwick's character that couldn't be done now can be done,
Mhm.
which is wild. And I think that's really cool way to go about it and give people what they want and still honor Chadwick, right? And give
Mhm.
people like this movie is like almost like a funeral in itself. It's just like
Yeah.
letting people grieve because he meant so much to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go on to the next scene. So the next scene, we know this where Wakanda is at. People think Wakanda is weak because they lost their king, they lost their Black Panther. So we feel like this French army try to go into the boat
It wasn't
and
the
try
French
to
army. It
what was it?
was.
French mercenaries?
Well, uh, we can't even call them French. They were a group of paramilitary professionals from multiple nations.
Is that
Oh,
what they
okay.
said? That's so bland. I
I
thought
It
they were
thought
was
I thought they were
bland.
I thought they were French, like just straight. Well, I'm guessing they were hired by the French.
They were
Yeah.
hired by the French and the Americans.
Oh,
Okay.
and the Americans.
Okay, because the screen
Surprise! We're colonizers. Who knew?
the screen kept looking at the French lady and have her looking
Mhm.
shamed, so I thought it was all her.
It was both. It was a paramilitary organization, and
Okay.
like I know like groups like this, like the SAS, the Navy SEALs. Like there are a couple of orgs. Like they have these little divisions that do this stuff.
So I thought the military was French, and the two people that were on there were American. The lady and the guy who were doing the science stuff were American, and then everybody else in the army was French. That's what I thought.
I thought they were both French and American because I think
Okay.
why would they show both France and America like that?
I don't
You
because
mean-
the scientists were French. They were probably the CIA. That's what.
On the scene on the boat or the scene in the court in the room.
In the room, right? It was in the
In
room.
the room,
Right?
yeah.
Oh,
the
in
guy,
the room, yeah,
The
yeah.
guy was from. It said États-Unis. For some reason it was in French, but it said USA. The guy was from USA, and then she was from France.
Right.
You're right,
Well,
you're
it's just 'cause French is the global language of all the stuff. So
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay,
yeah.
interesting.
It's
Okay.
it's a very polite and light language. English being a Germanic language is kind of rough and harsh, as well as German itself. So they wanted the more polite language when it comes to diplomacy.
Which is
Yeah.
that's true. I took French for 5 years, and my parents can speak French actually, and because we're Haitian, and they can speak Creole and French. Didn't teach any of us though because they didn't want us to know what they were talking about, and I was like, all right,
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Rezzy in the
a lot of
comments.
times.
yeah.
Rezzy's a lawyer. He was on our show a while back. He actually he's a lawyer with the he does something special with the United Nations. So yeah, French
Yeah,
is
he
the language of
does.
the UN.
Oh, cool! I had no idea. That's awesome.
That is cool. Oh man, so I want to talk about the other boat now. Also, well, you know what? I love the Queen's response to it though. That was
This is our
fire.
mercy, and she brings him in like.
Yo, that was so good.
Yo.
The queen boss move of the century. Oh my goodness!
The acting in this movie is phenomenal. Angela
She
Bassett,
doesn't-
like
if she doesn't get nominated for something, like I'm writing. Like
it's
Sure.
wild. Like
Sure, I'm with you, man. Like,
she's like, I am bringing an Oscar-worthy performance, an Oscar-worthy Shakespearean performance to a movie about like a fictional country in a comic book. Like she's like, I don't give a shit. I am bringing my A game.
and
It's
she
wild.
did. It was crazy. But that whole scene was when she did her whole monologue and when she brought them in. I was like, yo, Angela.
All right, let's talk about the other boat scene. The boat scene where we finally get to see the people from Talakan, and they're getting all these people to jump off the ship with their sirens. And I'm just like, oh, that makes sense because sirens are they're a mythical thing where they use their voice to get men and pirates to jump off the ship. And I was like, the way they
or
took
crash the
this,
ship into the rocks. Yeah.
or, yeah, or crash ships in the rocks, exactly.
Oh, I didn't even make that correlation.
Yeah, and I was
They're
like,
sirens,
that makes so much sense. They can do this like mind control thing where they do that, and then you see them fight, and I was like, okay, like it was pretty cool. They were taking shots coming back up, but then when you see Namor just fly up there and take that helicopter, I was like, that was badass. That was so badass.
It was so cool. Like that's just not even seeing his face, just like his silhouette. And I
Yeah.
honestly, I thought they were gonna get away, and something else was
Yeah.
gonna
Too.
happen. And then that I was like, all right, that was pretty cool. That was well planned.
Oh, we were saying government, yeah, State Department, right? Thanks, Rosie, for always checking us with the important facts, making sure we blame the right government entity.
So one thing that I want to talk about. So we see the people from Telecon, and they find this vibranium detector, and then Namor, he goes to Wakanda, just swims there, and then finds them on the beach, and then throws the vibranium detector on there. But he says his mother talked about a place like Wakanda, and to me, I'm thinking like he must have been there before, and I feel like, in my opinion, my headcanon is all the kings from previous past have known about Talakan. Because like they probably met somewhere at one point, obviously because his mother knows about it, and then they would pass on that knowledge to all of the kings prior or that come after it. Chadwick never got to tell Shuri because he died, so Shuri never knew. I think that all of the kings from Wakanda always knew about Talokan.
Oh, or maybe Chadwick didn't even know before his dad told him, because his
Yeah.
His
dad
dad
died.
died too.
His dad
Yeah.
died prematurely, so
That's
maybe
true.
before he passed on the reins, he didn't tell him that information yet. So he and in the movie, Namor was upset that Chadwick opened the boat. No, not Chadwick. T'Challa opened the borders of Wakanda.
Yeah.
He revealed themselves, and so I feel like if he knew, he wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? So he
Mhm.
probably had no idea about Talokan.
There could have been some treaty back in the day between
Yes. And
like
that
them,
makes
like, yo, we have vibranium. Let's not mention this to anybody.
that actually adds more story back to T'Chaka. It makes T'Chaka's decision to not open it even more like heavy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was more at stake than just Wakanda.
Yeah.
Holy shit! He
Yeah.
prevented a different kind of war
Yeah.
by
Right.
not opening it up.
Like, I mean, I really wish we could verify this kind of stuff. It's like, just call up Ryan. It's like, is this
Yeah,
Ryan
right.
Ridley,
Like
Ryan Ridley.
this is something we really need an answer for.
yeah, like,
Right? Like,
it makes a lot of sense. Like, because there are a bunch of secrets that I feel like, even our government that,
Oh,
is
yeah,
passed. You
for
only
sure.
get that information if you're a president, and if you're president, this certain thing. So it could very well be the information that he died with, and it was only him who knew, and
Yeah.
no one, not even Queen Ramonda knew, and then it was just lost. And I mean, who knows?
I don't know. I'm gonna make a
Yeah,
TikTok
who
about
knows?
this tonight. Let's see if anybody has an answer.
Let me know, because I will be all over that.
yeah.
Dude, just get them on like together. Like,
It'll be good. One thing I did want to know. So like, Shuri and they go to MIT. A lot of people go to MIT in Marvel. We got all the Spider-Man people at MIT. Iron Man went to MIT. Riri went to MIT. It's a lot of propaganda here for MIT. I went to an engineering school too. How come they don't show NJIT?
okay, well, what's the best school in America, Neebs?
All right, fine. Well, you know what? Princeton. Princeton's from Jersey. I gotta represent Jersey.
Princeton,
Jersey.
fine, it's up there. All right,
Jersey.
But truly, in all the rankings, MIT is always number one.
Okay, fair. All right. But I liked one of the
Yeah,
things.
surprisingly, it's not Harvard. I know people are confused about that, but no, MIT is the top school.
Facts. I did think it was funny that they mentioned the Fenty makeup, and we got Riri on who they're going after, and like Rihanna's doing the music for this, so it's kind of like they're giving a lot of props to Rihanna, because Rihanna also goes by the name Riri, which I think is funny, and I thought that was a little interesting and a little fun fact.
Little nods and stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah, but I like that. And then we got to see Riri show us what she has. Then they go off to the streets, and that's when we meet Namor's crew, and they go into a fight on the bridge. That fight scene on the bridge, a lot of people in the audience were like gasping, because they were like, "What the hell's going on?" What were your thoughts about that fight scene, Dimitri?
It was just surprising because we love Okoye. I love Okoye, and Denai, and she plays her so well. And to see her lose,
Yeah.
you never would think you would see Okoye lose, but then Namora, and then all the whole crew, and I'm forgetting the name of the big dude that beat her. But
Attila?
The Warrior.
I think
yeah,
it was Attila.
he said that a lot. He used the word warrior a lot.
Yeah, Warrior. Let's fight.
He just he mollywopped her, and she took her loss, and then after that she was stripped as general. But yeah, it was a great scene. It was a well choreographed scene, but just to see her lose was like, because we're always rooting for Okoye. But to see her lose was like, it's like, damn, you had it.
But they had to establish that the Talokans are not to be messed with. They're badass. And Namor says like, "Hey, listen, Wakanda, you guys don't know, but Atuma, yes.
Thank
his
you,
name is
Ruzzy.
Atuma.
Like I said, we just gotta have Ruzzy on here at some point again. Like,
Ruzzy needs to become our producer. Just fact checks us all the time.
right, the entire time.
Oh man, I was gonna say, they go onto the bridge, and they have to establish that these guys are badasses, that they can really, really fight, right? And we finally get to see that, and they win. And then Shuri's smart. She's like, "Hey, listen, I can't beat them, but maybe I can reason with them." And they take Shuri. I thought that was really smart, really cool. And then we see the next episode, the next day, Ross comes out there. He's like, "Oh, wow! I found these bees that are conspicuously lying around. I am special. Let me take them."
Like no one noticed. No one noticed these beads. Let me pick these up. It was like,
Like, come on, Ross. Like, even the U.S. government's not that incompetent.
of course they're bugged, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
I didn't think Fontaine was gonna be in the movie though. So it was.
How did they think she was gonna be his wife?
Even yeah, like they were banging.
Director Fontaine, yeah.
She was like, "Let me come sit on your Peloton." I was like, "Oh my god, ma'am."
It's like relax. Can we just relax? Just relax a little. But and just he just casually sees the beads. You didn't think that that they might be bugged or anything, but to each their own.
To each their own. All
To
right.
each their own. Mhm.
All right. So that's our favorite colonizer over there. But let's go back to Wakanda and let's talk about M'Baku and the rest of the crap.
Yo, do
Yo,
not get me started on M'Baku. Like,
When
I am in.
M'Baku.
I was actually supposed to make a TikTok about him today and just do a bunch of his scenes.
Mhm.
But he was so great in the movie. He's just so naturally funny and like
Bald-headed demon.
you you bald-headed demon. When I heard that, I was like, no, that was so I wonder if that had to be. Sometimes stuff is they improvise a lot. And I wonder if that was improvised because that was
I
just
probably bet it was.
you bald-headed demon. I was like, that was just so funny. And then when I don't know what warrior he was talking to, what tribe that was, but then it was like watch yourself in Buck. He was like, ooh, 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 ooh. Like it just all of it was just he's just so great.
And then when the queen was like, "Sit down," he's like, "Yes, ma'am."
I love that he just like came out there so menacing, eating a carrot. Like I've never seen a man eat a carrot so manly.
Now you have Winston Duke and Baku, man. Like he such a great casting.
So good.
No, like I think he may have been the best character in this movie, honestly.
Yeah,
There's so many good characters.
Between him and Riri, Riri, she's naturally funny too.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for her series. And I know I've read comics like here and there, nothing fully, but I was reading up on like Riri Williams and saying like the comics didn't do too well. People didn't really resonate with her. Yeah. But I think coming from this movie, her show is going to be so good. And I think Don Cheadle is also going to be like a figure in the show, and even for like Armor Wars whenever that comes out.
And Sam Wilson too, like
and Sam Wilson. So yeah, like just be like in the form of a mentor, or like she maybe gets her hand on Stark Tech and then he has to step in. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see that. But I think I think that show is going to end up being a surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm really excited. A lot of people were not big fans, but I thought like the reason I feel like people are not big fans is Marvel does this thing, and they've done it with other shows too, is they use characters as like these MacGuffins, right? Basically, you see it in what's that? Doctor Strange, where like America Chavez is basically this thing that everyone has to get, and then same thing, Riri is this thing everyone has to get, and I don't know why people have a problem with that. It's a plot device, right? So the fact that like they made a plot device a person instead of a thing is what gets to people. Like, oh, this person wasn't really used. Like, yeah, they're introducing her, man. We're just getting, it's a little warm up. It's a little teaser to her. She's gonna get her own stuff. Just calm down. It'll be fine.
The internet just loves to complain about every little thing. If I feel entertained, I think obviously I have my criticisms, but if I feel entertained, I'm like yeah, this was a good show. It was a good movie. But people would like Star Wars fans and Marvel fans, I would say, are the worst people.
100%.
Some of the worst people
100%.
ever.
100%.
They're great. They're the great. There's the good side, and then there's the very, very toxic side.
Yeah.
No, like you can't be a superhero. Why are we? It's the MCU now. Like this is so. I hate the word mid so much.
I hate it so much.
The word
People
mid
use
so
it somehow. This was so mid. I'm like, is it mid, or are you just upset that you're not seeing yourself represented anymore, and they're representing
exactly
a new culture, or women, and people are upset about that. And She-Hulk, Star Wars is the worst. They're the worst. They're awful.
As I said it, Star Wars fans are the worst.
Star Wars literally bullied people into suicide. Like they're actors. That is wild.
Actor for Jar Jar Binks, he almost committed suicide.
Ahmed Best, yeah. Wow. And the young kid who played Anakin, him too.
Yeah, him too. It's just Yeah, like, and She-Hulk did a great job of. They knew what was going to happen. Like I think I forgot what episode it was. It was 2 or 3 where they showed that whole little montage.
Montage, yeah, of
Oh,
like the
yeah,
men complaining.
yeah. And then complaints like they called this from the start. Like the director knew exactly what was going to happen, and it's making a point. Like people just complain about
Yep.
nothing, and a lot of it are the people who they don't see white men in charge anymore. They don't see white men lead actors, but
Yes.
instead we have we have Kamala Khan, we have Shuri, and it's just upsetting so many people, and I just don't understand why.
It's really, really weird. But I think like when you're so used to privilege, that equality feels like oppression to you. That's what I think, right? It's like one of those
Facts.
things.
Great, that's spot on.
Yeah. All right, let's go. I want to go back. I know we talked about a lot of great
Oh,
actors.
yeah,
so
back to
another-
M'Baku about how I'm gonna fanboy over him.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Then let's go to the next scenes because really the scenes that came after that scene where they're all gathered, that's where he really shined. So let's keep going.
It's really funny to me because like M'Baku calls out Okoye, calls her a bullheaded demon, right? But then when Okoye comes back and she is stripped of her title, he doesn't say anything. He's like, that's his chance to like say something or like kick someone when they're down. He's like, nope, doesn't say anything, right? And you see like what a mature king he was. And when we see him in Black Panther, you're kind of like, oh, Chadwick's the king. This guy's arrogant. But you're like, M'Baku's wise. Like he is wise.
He was okay, fine. We'll just get into it. He was the big brother to Shuri in that moment.
Yeah.
When she needed a brother.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Are you sure you're doing this for the right reason?" Like obviously she still went angry and whatnot, and little sisters do that, but he was still there for her.
Yeah.
And he was there for Chadwick. He was like, for T'Challa, like, yo, your brother asked me to do this.
Right. Which I loved. And it was like a big brother uncle type of moment. And even going back to with Okoye, I think him not saying anything in that moment, it was just a sign of respect of how much he actually respects her.
Right.
He does the banter with her, but she's a leader and she has proved herself time and time again. So for him not to say anything in that moment, I think that was just out of just straight respect. But I love the dynamic that Shuri and M'Baku have now. And that scene where she came down as Black Panther, she was speaking to him alone, where she was just like giving him the absolute business. And I think he was just kind of like, let me like just step back and let her do her thing. I think moving forward. I think even moving forward with when we thought we were going to see Shuri step out of the jet during the ceremony, and we saw M'Baku instead. I forgot who I was talking to about this, but I think it's going to be a situation where he's king and she's the Black Panther,
right?
And he's facilitating. She does Black Panther duties because she is very young in the movie. And she's 16 in the movie.
Yeah, something like that.
She was 16 in the first movie, but we don't.
So she's probably 17, 18 right now at most.
17, 18, yeah, because
because of the blip. There's 5 years, so you got to add the blip too.
Well, no, if she's 16 when the blip happened, let's say that was
she's 21.
Well, technically she should be 21, but it was like a year after that when the movie takes place after T'Challa died. So isn't she really like 17 or 18?
No, because this happens after the blip. T'Challa comes back after the blip.
How do we know she wasn't blipped also?
She was blipped.
That's why she's still young. Yeah,
she was blipped.
Oh, I didn't know
that's why she's still young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Never mind.
Yep, that's why it tracks. Like she's probably 16, 17, or 18 now.
So that's a very young age to rule at, and she still has a lot to learn. So I think it's going to be a situation where M'Baku's the king, and she's the Black Panther, which I think
makes sense.
would be really cool. I love seeing it. And I know Winston Duke. I think he signed a contract extension with Marvel. So to see him in a bigger role like that, I think it was great because I love Winston Duke.
Me too. So good. The other thing in that scene I want to talk about when Angela Bassett, the queen, rips Okoye. Woof, man! Like she does a good job, but like, oh man, that was
she went Mama Bear there, but like a little too much bear.
She was like, listen, you were here when freaking Killmonger took over, and like she pulled out the receipts, and she was like,
she really did. She was like, I've been saving this for the right moment, right now. And I know we all do that as people. It's like, if I ever get into a fight with this person, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. She was holding that back for years.
Yes.
Years.
Okay.
Even like she was. I don't think she was blipped. Okoye wasn't
No.
blipped, so she like
Okoye for sure was not blipped.
yeah, she was not
Yeah.
blipped. She
We
was
know
she was
that
in
for a fact.
Endgame, but she was holding those receipts for the longest time, and she delivered them. Like that whole monologue was great. And I think that that was my favorite monologue in the MCU because she did such a good like. Have I not given you everything? I was like,
Oh my god, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's so good, man.
Okay. Real quick confirmation. Shuri was 18 in the first Black Panther movie. She was blipped, and she came back into existence around 2023. So that would make her around 20 at the time. And Wakanda Forever takes place a year later, so she'd be around 21.
gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So she's
makes
still
sense.
very, very young.
Yeah, very young. The other character that I want to talk about that nobody's talking about, and is my favorite character because I'm obsessed with her, I'm in love with her, is Lupita's character, Nakia. I
Nakia.
swear to God, if there's
Nakia.
one, I swear to God, if there's one character that kept the heart and soul of T'Challa alive in this movie, it was her. Because you can see her talking to Shuri about like letting vengeance consume you, and you can see like her going out and finding Shuri where she was and going undercover. She got her like family madrigal on where she was like in Kanto mode. She goes in dressed up and gets the information for Namor. Like I love her in this movie. I think they did a good job with making sure like she was still an important integral part of this movie. And at the end when you see what happens with T'Challa's son, you can see like why she left and why she stayed away and all this stuff, and it made so much sense. And you can see like she is the closest to the nobleness that is T'Challa in the entire movie, and I really, really loved her character.
She would have been a great queen if T'Challa was still alive.
She would have been a great Black Panther, in my opinion.
I thought she was gonna end up being the one in the suit. Like I thought there were gonna be two Black Panthers throughout the movie, and I thought she was gonna be one of them.
Oh, they for sure photoshopped it a bit. She had way more curves in the trailer, and then in the movie,
yeah, did like did a little flippy flip.
Yeah.
But I love that you said the Encanto thing because that's the first thing I thought about when she had the glasses on. I was like, girl, you are going through your Encanto phase right now.
She's looking for Bruno. That's we don't talk about Namor.
We don't talk about Namor. And then she came out with like the perfect like I wonder how many languages she actually knows because I know she's an undercover spy, but she has to know all of them. But yeah,
all of them.
I love that one scene because she put the Encanto. It was great.
And she's Spanish in real life too, right? Like from a Spanish-speaking country.
I don't know about that. We can look that up.
Look it up. I'm pretty sure she is. I'm pretty sure she's Afro Latino or something like that. Which I think is cool.
She was born in Mexico City.
Mexico City, yeah.
To Kenyan parents.
Yeah, to Kenyan parents. Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But how do you feel about them being in Haiti? That's got to be cool. That must have been amazing, man. I like. That's got to be cool. Tell me about that.
It was cool. Like, unfortunately for me, I have yet to go visit Haiti, and it's something that's I travel a lot, but that's I was actually in the DR for a wedding in April, and that's the closest I've ever been to Haiti. And
I don't know. Right next door.
Yeah, it's right next door. My parents always want to go back. If I ever go back, it's definitely going to be with them. But I have yet to make it over there, and I've been wanting to go for the longest time. But just when they said Haiti, I was like, that's cool. I turned to my friend. I was like, I'm Haitian.
Nice.
I was like, they're in Haiti. Like, that's cool. And then he was like, when Charleston was like, my name is Toussaint, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I love the fact that they put it in Haiti.
Yeah. Tell our audience a little bit about what that name means because I looked it up, but I want you to tell it.
So Toussaint Louverture, he if you go back, if you Google him, Sherry said that his name carries a lot of significance.
Right.
He was the person who basically liberated the Haitian people. So like it was that when she said that was you have a very important name. Your name carries a lot of history. That like if you Google him, you will see him all over the place.
That's so cool. We got a history lesson in this movie, and
I thought that was really, really cool. I was like,
we need to learn more about the cultures because,
I
know in our school, like we learn world history. It's really European history. It's not world history.
And it's written by the
Africa,
oppressors.
Chapters on Asia, chapters on Latin America. They're like literally one chapters, and then every country in Europe has its own chapter. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing this.
Like we watched Miss Marvel, and so many people came out and said we never heard of the partition. We didn't know what that was, and I was like,
I
that
didn't.
makes sense.
I did not.
Exactly.
I had no idea about what it was, and then it was cool learning about it. But I had no idea that happened in the past. And we don't learn about that stuff. We learn about our history, but it's good to learn about everyone's history. So it's just a lot of stuff in school they don't teach us.
And I'm so glad the Marvel, Disney, they're all just shoving it in there like, learn.
Yeah.
It's great for everybody. I love it.
You know what it is? They're giving these producers, writers, and directors more creative control, and because of that, they're able to add this stuff in there, right? So I think that's really, really cool. Like that's probably all Ryan. The partition was probably all Bisma. So like this stuff is really cool because they let the right people tell the right stories.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about Shuri when she takes the herb and she sees Killmonger. I think that scene was the biggest shocker for me. That was like as shocking as like when the Red Skull showed up. Like I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, I saw it when she got out the water. I saw the hair. I was like, that's not Ramonda. I thought somehow it was gonna be some scene with Chadwick that they filmed, which makes no sense. But I was just being
you're hopeful, and I was hopeful for that too. I was
being hopeful, but then that was the last thing I expected. He had the comic accurate dreads. Dude looked good. I'm just gonna like he had the all white fit on, and then I did not see that coming, and everyone in the theater just audibly gasped.
Yep.
And then he was just spitting straight facts to her.
He was
about like how are you feeling, like about her feelings, the way she's feeling, how she hates the world, and thinking about it, how similar. I mean, not in the past, but like now, how similar they are.
Yeah, their feelings are very similar. She wants to avenge her mom, right? Basically an Avenger, right? She wants to avenge
her brother, everybody, right? Really.
Yeah. She's angry at the world. She's a child who's angry at the world, and it makes sense because who was Killmonger? A child that was angry at the world.
Like, straight up.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and that's when we get that line, like vengeance has consumed us, right? And you see that, and T'Challa learned that early, right? He had learned it himself, but he learned it early, and she needed to learn it in this movie. And we see like Queen Ramonda come out like Lion King, show them who you are, like Lion King, and she makes the right choice, and that's when she's like, finally. That's where all the conflict is resolved, which makes a lot of sense. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and for them to have hidden that for as well as they did, like no one. I'm sure the premiere, the room was going crazy. Michael B. Jordan was at the premiere, so he's probably sitting there like, motherfuckers, like
I got you.
I know.
You had no idea.
It makes sense for him to be at the premiere because he was in the first movie. So you're like, oh, he was in the first movie, they invited him back, right? Then you're like, oh, shit, he's in the movie.
You don't think twice about it, but I mean, think about it. Like he can still very well come back now where they're in the multiverse, and I'm sure you guys have watched the What If series.
Yeah, I'm actually really afraid he becomes a Black Panther in a different universe. And
like he's still alive in that little. I think I had to rewatch it, but he's like in a little jar thing, like he's
little snow globe,
and he can be released. He can come back into the 616. He can come into the 616, and he can very well, just do his thing. He could be in Secret Wars. We don't know. And I honestly hope he is, because that would be so cool.
I love Michael B. Jordan as an actor. Like he's so good.
He's so good. And I think that would be a nice little surprise among other things that I know is just gonna like hit us so hard in the face. I can't wait. Like even with Into the Spider-Verse coming out.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
Coming out. That has to be a part of Secret Wars, like all that stuff. Like
that's gonna be wild.
Introduce Miles Morales and just like so many Spider people. We have Spider Pig. We have Matt, and Spider Pig.
Can't forget Spider Pig.
That would be weird, but I'm here for it. And we have Madam Web coming out.
Yeah, Madam Web.
Yeah, so like so much stuff is going on, and that I think it's gonna play a part into Secret Wars. We have, Hugh Jackman coming back for Deadpool as Wolverine. Yeah. We have the X-Men coming. We have the Fantastic Four coming, and I really hope John Krasinski is still playing.
I think he signed on. I think he signed on to be Mr. Fantastic.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But
I'll
I
get
do
my
want to
hopes
talk
up.
about one more thing before we move on. I want to talk about Namor because we did not get enough Namor.
Yo, like
action.
I can't believe we're 50 minutes in. Like
I know we're 50 minutes in. We still haven't talked about Namor yet. It's like wild. But yes, can we talk about Namor? His reform history, which was
Bro,
awesome.
you want to just like push like Bachelor to tomorrow and just keep going with? Oh, you can't do tomorrow. Never mind. Okay.
No. We'll keep going. We'll be fine. We'll make Bachelor short. So we do a Bachelor episode right after this. we cover a lot of content. Like we do a lot. Of content. But yes, he says his famous catchphrase, Imperious Rex. Really, really cool. And then you see his fight. Yo, those wings, the way he's like flying on the edge of the wing walking, like amazing. I love that.
You guys know Cleo Thomas?
Yes, I know him.
If you don't know, he played Zero in Holes. He tweeted. He said that Ryan Coogler had Neymar doing the illest, like the illest Euro step of all time.
Yeah.
You think about it, he was like da. And I didn't even think about
someone
that.
from Houston who's seen James Harden play a lot. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. Like that's hilarious.
That is so
actually.
right.
I don't know if y'all watch anime, right? But this is my favorite anime, One Piece. The third in command of the show, his name is Sanji, and he does something very similar called the Skywalk. And when I saw this, I'm like, wait a second.
Maybe Ryan.
Michael B. Jordan's a weeb. Did he suggest this? Like,
probably. It was that one scene was just so cool, and the whole Wakanda, Talokan versus Wakanda fight scene was just so well done.
It was masterful.
It
the
was
effects,
masterful.
the music, the
music,
lighting, everything.
Like just the sadness of it, and just you see M'Baku diving into the water immediately to go save a boat, and the part where Ramonda dies, and he's like, what did Namor said exactly? He was like, bury your. Oh, he's like, mourn your losses, bury your dead. You're queen now. I was like, oh, so
shit. But like he was so like he made sense in a lot of way, and he was like so like nice. Like he took Sherry out, he explained to her like this is what we want to do, and like he was not like a crazy evil villain.
Strike. He said preemptive strike. Like he is a villain no matter what.
No, he is definitely a villain for sure.
He was just very nice about it.
He was very convincing, and he's kind of like it was a way to be like, hey, listen, you're a marginalized nation. I'm a marginalized nation. The real enemies are the white people. We need to get together and make sure we're ready for them. Which in my opinion, I think he kind of accomplished, right? Even though he lost the fight, he did convince Shuri to support them and protect their waters. And he's kind of just waiting. He's like, listen, she thinks she won, but really she just bought herself some time because the white people will eventually attack Wakanda.
Facts.
And that's where we'll join together. So even though they aren't technically together, they're still together.
Yeah, that's when she's gonna coming for help, because it could definitely be more than one nation coming at Wakanda, and they can only handle so much. I mean, they have superior technology, but to fend off that many people, you're gonna need help, and she's gonna definitely go to Talokan and Namor.
Yeah, and I like how Namor was like, I think he grew here because he was like, you know what, fine, I'll give up on my first strike ambitions because she's gonna join me anyways, and it's gonna happen. I might as well just bide my time.
Yeah.
The thing is, the Wakandans were technically going to lose because they were surrounded. They were about to lose. Yeah. And if Shuri did not defeat him, that would have been it. So it was a very well matched fight, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It was.
It was really, really good. It was really cool to see, and we got to see the Midnight Angels, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Like nobody knew that was a thing.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and that whole sequence. I'm like, oh, okay, they're ugly, but they work.
They are ugly.
They do their job.
I actually like them. Leave me alone. Reminds me of Farah's outfit from Overwatch.
Yeah. But like the thing is, like Shuri went like Batman, right? Like she had the prep time, so she was like, "Listen, she had prep time to make sure that her and Riri Williams got a plan together, and they were able to defeat Namor, and they did. They outsmarted him. They did all that, and then they like fried his ass like fried fish, like a fish fillet.
Batman could be anyone with prep time, and people always say that. Like, and they definitely, as a genius. And Bruce is a genius. And if you have prep time, you're gonna get your man. You're gonna figure it out. And then they did with the heat lamps, and you know, it was a very fair fight at that time. You know, because
Yeah.
I think I was reading something that said Namor is supposed to have the power of when he's in the water, he's like as strong as Thor or the Hulk or
Right.
something like that.
Or the Hulk. Yeah.
So yeah, she held her own, and it was a really well choreographed fight scene. You know, he caught her with the debris, stabbed her, and she was like, "Nah, this ain't over."
Yep.
And she did her thing, and at the end, I did thought she was gonna kill him, and she was very reserved, and to live another day. And yeah, like she's gonna end up going back to Talokan. Like it's just setting up for future movies and setting up for future.
Yeah. It's setting it up.
Setting up for future conflict, which is great. And I'm glad, honestly, I'm glad that Namor's not dead because
he's such a good villain.
He's a great villain. Like him, who else? Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger. I think those two are like top
two villains of the MCU, hands down. Agreed.
Because their resolve and then their reasoning was just like it's so justified. They just did it in a very extremist way.
Yeah, and the actor is just so good. They're just so good.
I have to give a shout out to Ruzzy because he was the first one to say that. But yes,
yeah, I really really love the acting of Namor, and it's just like he just does this like soft villain like era thing where he's just like telling people like, yeah, we're going to kill you, but here's why. I think you need to join us.
Yeah, like Tenoch Huerta, it's so funny to see people like tweet about I see TikToks now. People are like, Sherry didn't want to like go with him when he said let's burn the world together. It's like I would have been like there's so many girls, so many women are like
you're the key to my heart.
Like so many women are like simping over him. Like, which is granted, he's a very attractive man, and like in the movie, you know, he's doing his thing, and then I can understand, and I just love that what he did for like just like for Aztec Mayan culture, just like for Mexican culture. Like I saw videos people like videos of people like, you know, how after Black Panther, you know, Black people, we got the Wakanda suit and everyone's just walking around doing the little sign. I'm like, that's so cool, and I'm so glad that they have that now. Like I love seeing representation in movies, and
I love it too.
After so long, seeing like for one thing, and then now, and I'm sure like Kevin Feige always had a plan, just like down the line, and just to see all this stuff now and see what we're getting in the future with women, with different cultures. You know, we got Kamala Khan, and which was a great show. I loved it. I just love seeing the different cultures and learning about that, about his history, and then Talokan and what happened, and like just Mayan culture and Aztec culture.
Yeah, it's really cool because they take it from like real culture, and they took a lot of inspiration from like real Aztec gods and like Mayan culture, and they mixed up a little bit here and there, but it's like, you know, it was great to see. It was great to see that representation, and I really enjoyed it. And I always say this: when one of us wins, we all win. That's how representation works, right? So I love that, and that's pretty much the whole show, the whole movie. What else do we have? Is there anything else I'm missing? Anything big happened that I didn't capture?
I do want to talk about T'Challa's son, because I saw it was either I read about it or saw a TikTok where someone was like, so T'Challa was gone he was blipped for 5 years. And he got sick, you know, I think in between then, right? Like when he got back. So really, when he got back, his son was 5. Yeah. And he probably had only around a year with his son.
Only a year. Yeah.
Which makes it so much sadder.
Yeah, it makes it really sad. But he prepped him. He taught him a lot in that year. Because he was like, I am King T'Challa. like
son of T'Challa. And
son of T'Challa,
like, yeah, like he prepped him for his death, and it's just so sad to think about that.
Yeah. No, I get it. I love that. I love the direction they took with it. And like I said in the beginning, this is a movie that you want to watch twice. The first time you're anticipating stuff and you might not get what you want, but the second time you sit with it and you're like, okay, this is really giving me not what I want, but what I need. Because some of those scenes, I was like, yo, that grief, like it's familiar. It's familiar
I was
to a lot
actually
of
angry in part of the first watch through. Like when Shuri went all, you know, anger and whatnot, I was like, it's not what T'Challa would have wanted. It's not what T'Challa would have wanted.
Yeah.
Like, why are y'all taking it this way?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Yeah,
I'm glad watch through.
I'm glad that she leveled out for the most part.
Yeah.
And it was the second watch that truly understand that these were the 5 stages of grief. It wasn't just a plot point for them.
It's like, this is stuff that people actually go through.
Yep.
So,
it's
definitely watch it twice. Like, your opinion will change.
Ruzzy said it was not a sequel, it was therapy. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it
It
was
is.
not a sequel. It was therapy.
It was
That is true. That is
therapy.
true. Well, Dimitri, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was such a great show. We really enjoyed having you. You are welcome anytime. If you're ever watching
sure.
anything else or you want to come on our show, please feel free. It was a pleasure meeting you. And again, like tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok at Dimitri Beauchamp. I know that's a lot to, but I also have my TikTok, my Instagram. It's Dimitri is DIM. You'll type in DIM 3 E's and you'll find me like immediately.
Damn, why you got to make it so complicated?
It's a picture of me going like this. But
Gotcha.
if you type in Dimitri, I think I should pop up for the most part.
Okay,
but-
yeah.
When I typed in Dimitri, like the first thing that came up was you on TikTok.
Yeah, so I think
perfect.
yeah, I think that also works. So just type in Dimitri. Yeah, you'll know me when you see me.
Perfect, right. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And until
Thank
next
you,
time,
guys.
guys, Salaam nerds.
Peace.